Hi everyone. So in this video, we are going to start animating our dragon, and we are going to use contact down, pass up to animate this dragon. So now, as we are starting this with contact down, pass up, I think it's better to then start with a contact pose of the wing. The wing contact is the main thing that's the main feature of this, uh, the walk, because this entire huge wing is going to make contact here. So now we need to have a decent pose, and we also have to decide now that what frame rate are we going to use. I mean, what frame range are we going to use? Are we going to use 50 frame cycle, 80 frame cycle? Like, how many frames? I think we should start with 60 frames. 60 frames should be good enough to start. So maybe I'm going to reduce my timeline to from frame 0. I'm going to start from 0 to 60. I'm going to write 60 here. So now we will have 60 frames, and the reason I mentioned 60 frames is I remember back in the days I was trying to make the an elephant walk cycle, and I remember like 60 frames worked perfectly for that. So this is a way bigger creature than elephant, but if you can see, like he's a very flexible creature also. Like his arms are much thinner, and like they are he looked like an agile creature. So I don't want to apply the same elephant rules, but I think 60 frame would be a decent frame to get started with. And I was doing some practice before this just to understand what I'm going to say. So based on that, also I'm going to say, like this is a we're going to keep going like this. As I'm animating, I feel like I can give a little bit of a better angle on this wing. So I'm just going to start by maybe rotating this slightly in. And now as I'm rotating this slightly in, I can try either moving this like this. So we have to be careful, because right now you can see, like in the base, it's a little bit messed up. So we might want to design the curve, the wing in a little bit more cleaner way. So maybe I'm gonna start by adding a little bit of motion, so that at least we have a better looking pose right here. uh, so maybe I'm gonna select this upper super controller first, and maybe I'm gonna just spread out this little bit, so that is around 2.7 something. And now as it's spreading out, now I can select this controller, and I can just curl this in just a little bit, and a little bit up. Now like now I think this is gonna be at least it's touching the ground now. And now we can try turning this wing from this the base, or even from this controller itself. I'm trying to find even a better kind of shape so that that this wing can sit on the ground nicely. So maybe I'm going to select this base again, and I will move this wing slightly further away and slightly higher. So now this wing is still sitting on the ground, but so it's still sitting on the ground. Let me fix it. And but it's much more natural. So now you can see, like, the end is kind of coming up. So now we should try to find a little bit of a natural pose for this second one as well. I'm going to select that, and maybe first I'm going to see, like, what pose would work in this part. So I think maybe I should just rotate this slightly like this. So now it's the pose itself here is looking much better. I'm going to rotate this slightly down. And now we can see, like, this part is kind of interacting with the ground. I'm going to select the upper one. So this is for the first one, and now the second one. And I'm going to just rotate this slightly higher. So that is maybe this much should be fine. I can select this base one, and I can rotate this base one as well. Oh, sorry, going back to this one. Okay, so this now that one is sitting decently on the ground. So the first and second, they are looking fine. Maybe I can even make them a little bit short like this. So these are fine. Now we will be able to make a decent animation here. But now moving on to the second and third, I want to find a little bit more comfortable pose for these guys as well. So maybe I'm going to start by rotating them slightly down. So now I'm going to start from the base. I'm going to rotate this slightly down, and maybe I'll bring it just, I think this is fine. I think this pose is looking great. I'm gonna maybe rotate this slightly like this, and I want to see, like, how this is looking with the rotation. Maybe I'm going to rotate this from this controller a little bit more. Sorry, this one, because if I rotate from this controller, as you can see, I have to go to the custom and sorry, not custom. I have to go to the gimbal. So now if I'm rotating, you can see like the base is not really impacting that much. I'm going to rotate a little bit and I'm going to move it down. So I think now it's looking much better. So with this kind of angle on the wing, so now this is looking much better. We have much cleaner kind of space here. Yeah, so I like what I'm seeing here. And now maybe some of you might want to go to the lower wing again. So because why I'm spending all this time is we have to be really careful, you know, how our wings are gonna look initially, because this pose is gonna travel much longer. So we have to be really careful like how we make this pose. So now you can see as we are polishing it, so now our wing is looking much nicer and nicer. And the last but not least, I'm going to select the last wing one, and I'm going to maybe try adding some base rotations from here. And maybe I'll try finding a little bit better angle here, so that is something like this, maybe slightly higher here. And now I can maybe select this last one, and I can rotate this slightly higher and then slightly lower. Okay, so now it's looking much cleaner now. Maybe I'm gonna keep rotating this a little bit more. And now I can try finding a little bit better angle on this one. So I can maybe rotate slightly down. So we still have some weird angle here. Uh, so it's gonna be a little bit challenging to just find our favorite pose, but you know, just give me some time. So now we can turn on the membranes and we can try giving just a little bit of modification to this membranes and see if that gonna help us in any way. For example, we can try rotating this slightly, this side of the controller just a little bit. So just by giving a little bit of rotation, now we have a much nicer you know, kind of looking curve here now. And we can try that same thing here. We can try lifting this just a little bit so that, you know, this we can lift it a little bit so that, you know, it's interacting much nicer with the ground. So now we lifted it a little bit like this, and we can do the same thing on this side. Just lift it slightly, and same thing here. And same thing here. So now I'm just giving a little bit of angle fixing here. So now, you know, it is kind of looking better. So now when we are transferring the animation, now we also have to select these ones. And now, for example, like, you know, we have to fix now how this wing is going to look right here. So now we have to fix this so that, you know, the wing is in the correct spot. And we might have to change the angle here to so that, you know, it can, so that we can reduce these you know, intersections here. So yeah, I think this part is good, but we just have to select this one and a little bit of like this. So we just had to add all those rotations. So now it's much nicer. Now you can see like by spending a little bit of time, now we got a much nicer and cleaner pose here. So for now, you know, we made some changes on these wing controllers so that, you know, this base pose here can look better. So I'm just gonna make few more changes here, and then we are gonna add a key on these wing controllers. You know, we can definitely improvise, like for example here, and we can let this fall down a little bit, and this one also, it can fall down a little bit. Okay, this part is fine. So now we have some part, you know, membranes falling down. Okay, so yeah, so now what we can do here is first on frame 0 and 60, we can add a key on membranes. So I'm going to select the membrane controllers. I'm going to click on, I'm going to right click on this layer, and I'm going to click select objects. And I only want to select for this side. That side will be copied automatically. So I'm just going to hold control and deselect all of these controllers. And now I'm going to press S on 0, and I'm going to press S on 60. Now we have two controllers on the two keys on the membrane, so that's all we need. I'm gonna just hide them for now. We're gonna transfer them later. Now we have we can see like we have some of these controllers starting from this one. Let me see why it's not loading. I have to, so I had selection sets in the studio library. I was thinking, yeah, maybe I'm just gonna make a selection set here for the wing, right here in the layer. So I'm gonna start from this one. I will select the main controller and then this one and then the super controller, and then I will select all these base controllers. I'm not adding any animation on this second one, so I don't have to select them. I'm gonna select my pivot controllers for the wing, and I will select my last controllers, and then these lower controllers, lower finger controllers. So these, I selected all the main ones, and now I'm going to select this pole vector and the arm and the clavicle. So now these are all the controllers that we need to key right now. So I'm going to just, as I'm selecting, I'm going to just click on a layer. So now we will have a layer 1. Now we can name this arm, so left arm. Okay, so now we have this layer, this arm in a layer, so that's great. Now yeah, we are going to select that arm, so I'm going to right click on that and select arm. So now we are going to add a key on all these controllers on frame 0, and we are going to add a key on frame 60 as well. So now we have to make this arm go back, and then it's going to come forward, because this is a contact pose. That means on this frame the arm is making contact with the ground, so the arm need to leave the ground from somewhere here. So where it's going to leave the ground, it's going to come forward. So for now I'm going to let this arm go back till frame 45. So let's say that till frame 45 this arm is going to go back, maybe till here. It's going to go back this much, and then it's going to start coming forward. So I'm going to move this back, and I'm also going to turn on my auto key, and I will press S on this frame 45. So now what we'll have with this is, now this hand will be moving back from 0 to 45, and then it's going to be coming forward. I will on my graph editor, go to Windows, Animation Editor, Graph Editor. I want to put it here. Okay, so now we have this graph editor here. So now as this arm is going back and forth, so I want to do something here. I want to make sure that this arm is going in a linear motion when the arm is on the ground. So when the arm is moving back, that means the arm is on the ground. So in this ground motion, I'm going to select all my right side of the tangent, or even the left. Just select one side of the tangent and hold middle mouse and drag down. And you just have to make sure that this part is straight. It doesn't have to be 100%, but for now we have to make sure it's straight. Later we can just put like this one also. Right now we are trying to get this kind of axis here, so that we know that now the wing is going to keep going, is going in that direction, and then with that momentum is going to take some time to return. So now we have this motion where the wing is going back, and then it's going to come forward. I personally feel it's a little bit too fast, and I wish my viewport now is fast enough. So I'm gonna just quickly pause this video, and I'll be back. Hopefully when I open this again with the restart, my file will be faster. For some reason, with the restart seems to fix like all the studio library and some issues. And I wish there was a streamlined solution for this, but sometimes I'm not sure, like it was a little bit faster earlier and now it's not. Hi everyone, so I just restarted my computer, and for some reason now I'm getting a really good playback, and I really wish I know how come this thing. And now I'm able to load in my uh, studio library as well. So now that's working. So what I was trying to say here is, instead of having these that layer which I added a new layer here. So this L arm, So we could have just now, whenever we need to key a specific group of controllers, we can just now, for example, here we have this wing. We can right click and select content. Or we have to select a controller here first. Right click and select content. So now see, like, we selected all the controllers, and we can key all the necessary controllers like this. So so far what we have here is a contact, and the wing moving forward and backward. I'm just gonna quickly hide this. We don't need both of those things anymore. So right now we have this wing going back and forth. So let's see how it's looking. So I feel like, the way the wing is coming forward in a very quick way. So I think we should definitely change a few things. So first of all, I'm just gonna move this frame 45 to 40. So I think that would be a much better alternative. So right now it's going back, and then I think this would be a much um, nicer approach to the walk. So now, the hand is going back in in 40 frames, and then it's coming back in like 20 frames. So I think this 20 by 40 by 20 ratio would be the best ratio. I think right now it seems decent. So now I mean, personally, I think maybe I can try giving a couple more frames. So maybe the hand can stay on the ground for 42 frames, and then on coming forward in 18 frames. So let's see how that looks. This working much better now. I like this one. So 42 frames back, and then 2 frames coming forward. I'm gonna again select this translate Z, and I'll make sure all my translate translate Z curves are straight from 0 to 42. So now 0 to 42 is staying on the ground, and then is coming forward. Now as we have this one happening, so now, we need to start adding some details. So now we as we have this foot going back and forth, now we can try adding a little bit better poses on the wing. And for example, when the wing is going back here, so around this frame, I can, like, now I can make a little bit better pose for the wing here. But now we also have to ask ourselves that, do we have to take our hand this back? Because right now this is a lot of translation. So now if you see that from 0 to 42, this is a huge amount of translation. Maybe I should we should scale it down. I'm going to select this translate Z, and I'll click on this fourth tool here, and I'll scale it down to maybe so that this hand is kind of straight. So maximum, I think this is where I would take him, the hand. So I think now this would look much better now. So like the hand is going, I think, back enough, and then is coming forward and touching again. So now we can start adding few more details. So first of all, on frame 42, we can try to have a much better pose here. So I'm going to select this hand controller. And so right now I want to try animating this, some rotational things and some more details I want to add in this hand. So right now this hand is going back. Okay, selecting this hand controller. So now as this hand controller is reaching the back, so we have to add some roll here on this hand, so that, the hand is kind of rolling, and then the hand controller is going to go higher. So around frame 51, we have to add some upward translation on this hand. So the hand is going to go a little bit higher, and then it's going to hit the ground here. So I think we can add a little bit of a faster ground impact here on frame 60. So this translate Z here is having impact on the ground. So I'm going to select this translate Z tangent on this side, and I'm going to make it flat. So now it's no longer having that smooth kind of landing. It's going to have a little bit more impactful landing. That's what we need. So now this thing going back and coming forward. So now one more thing I want to do here is I want to try animating all our rotation axis. So right now, when as I'm seeing here, my rotation axis is not working in the best way possible. So now, as you can see, like our rotation, as we are rotating like this, the the wing is kind of like, the X and Z, they are kind of blending together. So, I think for now I'm going to keep it because our the fly cycle also have the same one. But what I want here is I want to try adding a little bit of a roll here. So I want to have a little bit of a roll. So right now, we don't have any controls to do that. So maybe we can try turning on some controllers. So if I select this arm, and if I go, we have some controllers here, and those controllers are just for these bendy ones. So we don't have any controllers for this arm to add any extra roll kind of effects. We do have for the thumb. So if you select this thumb, we down here we have this this twist controllers, and sorry, not twist, we if I okay, so these controllers, so we have some of these, but these ones are just for the thumb. So we can utilize this later, but not right now. So right now we are trying to animate the rotation. So first I'm going to do one thing. So on frame 35, I'm going to just add a key on all three rotations. So X, Y, Z. I'll make sure I add a key on all three of them so that they are staying 0. And now from 35 to 42, this I want to rotate my hand here. So I'm going to just add, I'm not going to work on this gimbal. I'm going to go to object, and I'm going to add a little bit of roll like this. I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to move it slightly higher. And as we are moving it higher, so that means we also have to add a key on translate and rotate on frame 35. So on frame 35, again, I'm going to select translate. I'll add a key here. And then on frame 42, I'm going to add a translate up here, so that the wing is going to kind of roll here, and then it's going to continue going up, and we can fix some of these translate ones like this. So now it's going to roll and it's going to go up, and after 42 I'm going to add a little bit of a quicker translate higher up, because here the hand will really start speeding up, and then it's going to stay higher till frame 56. I'm going to add another key here. I'm going to keep it a little bit higher, and yeah, so now I think this is good. Maybe I'm going to add a little bit more impactful ending. So maybe I'm just going to raise these areas a little bit more. So now the wing is going to hit the ground in a more impactful way. So we have some detail on up and down. We have a quick roll here, and I think that roll we are going to continue. So now you see like the hand is rolling. So we saw that hand was rolling here, and now we're going to continue that roll going till frame 51. So we are going to add some roll on frame 51 like this, and maybe a little bit nicer rotation here on the arm. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly smooth out these. And now on frame 60, as this is the frame where the hand is going to touch the ground. So again, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to frame 3. I think on frame 3, I'm going to, or maybe frame 5, I'm going to keep the same angle of the hand on frame 5, and I'm going to press S here. But on frame 0, I'm going to rotate this hand like this, and I will move this slightly higher, and I'll move this slightly forward. So like, so now it's going to hit, the contact will be much more impactful. Now the hand is going to touch the ground like this, and I want to add that nice effect of the hand coming down. So now I'm going to first go to translate Y, and I'm gonna, so right now you can see like the hand is slightly higher here, so we have to match that. So first of all, I'm going to hold middle mouse on 0, and I will drag it, wait, yeah, so I'm going to hold middle mouse on 0, and I'll drag it to 60 and press S. So now we know that what pose do we need on 60. Now we can quickly modify some of these curves. So we have to make sure first and last is same thing goes with the Y. So I'm going to quickly smooth out these. And then here, so now they are hitting the ground nicely. And then we can try a few things on these these ones as well. So select the way we are selecting, and then keep going. And then we're going to quickly add a few more pose adjustments. So now we quickly did all of this, and now I think we are going to have much nicer feel here. So I want to add a little bit better kind of ground impact here as the hand is coming down here. So maybe by frame 2, I think the hand should already reach the ground. So I'm going to shift this key to frame 20, sorry, frame 2, like the hand impact. So now the hand is going to impact on the ground much sooner. So now but rest of the controllers can catch up. So now we have this hand animated. And I want to try a few more things. So right now, this angle here, the hand impact angle here on frame 60 is a little bit too extreme. Maybe 60 is fine, but on frame 56 is a little bit too extreme. So maybe I'm going to select rotations again, and I'll try modifying the pose a little bit. Maybe on frame 50, but sorry, 51 is fine. Maybe I'm going to reduce it a little bit on 51, uh, like this, and then on frame 58, like or maybe 56, when it's about to land, I'm going to give a little bit nicer angle on this spot as well, um, something like this. So now we have much better angle. And maybe on frame 60 I can also move this down, and same thing on the Y. I can also move this Y down, just trying to sync all of this together. And this, I'm trying to find out a better pose for Z as well, and Z is the main one, so I think we just want quickly to have a pose here with the Z, and then it's going to go back. Now let's see how it looks. Now it's coming up, and then right away it's going to start turning in other direction. And even here I'm going to turn it more, and I'm going to make it flat here. So now we have something. We are not going to make all the moves first, but now at least we have up and down. So now we can try adding some sideways motion here as well. So like right here, when the wing is going to go up and it's going to start moving forward, we can add a little bit of a sideways move. For example, we can go to translate X. Translate X will be sideways move, so we can add some like a little bit more of sideways angle. So as the hand is going to go higher here, so maybe it can go slightly in first. So based on the thumb action here, I can feel that maybe the hand can go slightly in, maybe not that much. This much should be fine. So it's going to go slightly in, and maybe yeah, from here it's going to go slightly out after that. Or maybe I can delay it by a couple of frames, and then it's going to touch the ground on frame 60, and I'm going to maybe move it slightly higher. I'm going to add another key. So now we have some sideways motion here. So it's going to touch the ground here and it's going to come in. So I think we don't need to do much. We are going to just fix the thumb when we are animating the thumb. So for now we have this happening on the hand. Okay, so now we just have a general hand blocking where the hand is, moving from the contact, it's going back, it's rolling, and it's coming forward. So that's just a decent motion here on the wing first. So now we can try fixing this wing as well. As I was mentioning, that on frame 42 now we should have made some nicer pose here on this wing. So that I think seems to be a natural kind of progression from here. So we can either try rotating this one like this, but that's not going to work. So we can try maybe doing this spread out like this. Even spread out is not going to work. So these were just for us to get started. I think now we have to move on to these specific controllers, and we have to make proper posing here. So maybe now on frame 42, I'm going to rotate these ones like manually, and I will do only from the base. So I'm going to start from this upper one. So first I'm just gonna rotate this slightly higher like this, and maybe I'll give a little bit of local rotation and maybe a little bit more like this, and then I'll keep going. Now this one is high enough. Going to the second one, I'm gonna move it higher, and maybe I'm gonna move it slightly in. Now this one, slightly higher and slightly in. Now the same thing goes to this one. This one I just have to move it slightly lower. This one is a circumstance kind of based thing, so we might have to remove it. So I think right now it's already going down here, so I'm just going to remove this one. I'm going to move it up. We'll see what we can do later on this. For now we are just trying to generalize the the way the wing is going to move. So it's going to go back, it's going to come forward. So we have a general motion here on the wing. So now we'll start adding more nicer wing motion here. So for example, we can start by adding some arm movement here. So as the wing is coming forward, we can select this pole vector controller, this one, and we can start adding forward and backward motion here. I'm going to go to the object, and now we can start adding some z translate action on this. So as this hand is touching the ground on frame 0, maybe I can move this slightly forward like this. I think we can move this entire thing slightly forward, and right after touching it's going to go down. So for next 4 frames I think it's just going to go slightly back. It's going to go back, and then maybe I'm going to reduce this slightly, and then it's going to go back and it's going to come forward. So I'm going to add a little bit of a shake in the arm like this. So now the arm is going to come down and it's going to have a little bit of a shake. Maybe I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. It's going to have a little bit of a shake, and around here I can start stabilizing the arm a little bit, and maybe I'm going to move it slightly down till frame 29. As there will be a good amount of weight coming in, maybe 38 also. I'm going to move it slightly down, I'm going to keep it down, and then the arm will start going forward here. So on frame 46 I'm going to move it forward because the arm have to lead the action like slightly like this. So maybe I'm going to increase it even more, and this action is going to continue. And now on frame 66 I'm going to move it slightly higher, and then I will let it fall down nicely here. So now if you see, like, the action, the kind of things that I did in the arm, so now that's kind of it's working, but maybe it's a little bit too much. I'm going to simplify them a little bit, and then we'll move forward from there. So that's working. So that's working. So this is great. Now we can add some specific effects on all the different fingers. So now this is working. So now you can see, like, this arm coming forward and doing all the things. um, and the foot itself feels weighty. It doesn't seems like, that there's a sudden motion going, and like now we specifically designed the motion of this foot coming forward and backward. I'm not worried about the ground yet. Like, if you guys want, you can just select this ground. You can just turn off this R, select the ground, and you can try animating the ground. We can do that. So, like, for example, like on frame 0, this foot is almost touching this. Maybe I can move it slightly back, so this on the black line. I'm going to add a key here, and now it's going to go back with the foot here, maybe by till frame 35. Maybe I can keep it going with the nail. So I'm going to keep the nail on there. Now if I just make this if I just click on this spline, so now it's a straight line. So if all I have to do here is now I have to go to edit keys, sorry, I have to do wait, sorry, not that one. So I'll go to curves post infinity cycle and curves pre infinity cycle. I was trying to bake for some reason. I also have to turn on infinity. I'm going to go to view, and I'll turn on the infinity. So right now this is cycling, so what we want is infinity. So I'm again going to go to curves post infinity cycle with offset, pre infinity cycle with offset. So now this ground will keep moving. So that's the speed that we are trying to animate right now. So the dragon is going to be walking at this speed. So now you can see, like, we kind of got an idea. If you want, you can scale the ground up so that but yeah, this is a decent idea. I think this is a nice speed. So now we just continue going. So now we have some motion happening on the wing. So now we can start adding some general motion here from this lower leg one. So we can try adding some spread out motion here. So I can select this, and I can start adding some bounciness here on the wing. So we have a decent kind of space here to add some bounciness like this. So let's try doing that. So now as soon as the wing is falling down, so maybe I'm going to start by maybe the wing slightly higher here. I'm gonna maybe raise the wing slightly higher, and that means we have to raise this entire curve. So I'm gonna quickly press Ctrl Z. So now slightly higher. So now as the wing is falling down till frame 6, I'm gonna let this wing keep going down like this. So now it's gonna fall down, and then it's gonna come back up right away from 6 to 12. It's gonna come back up, and then it's gonna go down again by frame 19. By 25 it's gonna go slightly higher, and then it's gonna go down right away. Go up slightly, and it's gonna go down a little bit, and then it will come back up with the arm right here. So as we can see, like we have a lot of ups and downs, so we'll see how they will work. For now we are trying to generalize the action, so we are trying to bring in some, make sure that this is not going beyond 0, so we don't want to go over. So now as we are playing, okay, so now maybe I'm just gonna smooth out a few of these areas, and just gonna remove this, and then so I just smoothed out some of these areas, and now maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of extra bounce here when it's falling down. So maybe we can go a little bit extra here, and then even here on frame 60 as the hand is coming down. So maybe I'm gonna move this 0 frame right here in the end, and then it's gonna fall down from here, and then it should keep going a little bit faster here. So maybe I think this is going up way too high, so it's gonna stay around here. Okay, I'm gonna add a couple more bounces here. So now it's kind of working, but we have to make sure that those small shakes are continuing. So I'm gonna keep it going down, and maybe I'm gonna add a few more nicer motions here. So that's much better. So it's kind of going a little bit higher here, so maybe I should keep this low. Maybe I'm gonna keep it somehow like this. Okay, so now we have some of this spread in spread out action happening here. So now we can try the same thing on this on the other side, spread in. So we can try to spread the wing in when the wing is kind of coming up slightly, like around here. We can let it spread out. So what we can do here is now we can try animating the spread in. So we're going to start from frame 0. So on frame 0, I'm just going to add a little bit of a in kind of motion so that this wing is slightly higher. And or, you know, in other words, we can just move it slightly higher from here. So now as the wing is falling down, so in just 2 to 3 frames, I'm just going to let this wing fall down. So it's going to hit the ground. Maybe by frame 2 it's going to hit the ground. So I will make this a little bit more linear, so that now this we're going to worry about this later. So now it's going to hit the ground, and it's going to stay on the ground like this, and it's going to stay on the ground till frame 37 or 39. 39 first. So I'm going to add a key here on 39. I'm going to make it flat, and I'll move it down until it's sticking to the ground. Same thing here. Now it's kind of going down here, so I have to find out some nicer poses here. For example, it's going down in the ground a lot, so I have to add a key here, and maybe I have to move it slightly higher, and then I can make this linear again. This one too. Then on frame 42 I can add another key here, just slightly down again. So now we can start smoothing out more naturally. So we were dealing a little bit more square hairs, but now here we can start a little bit more smoother action. So now it's going to go up like a little bit higher. So maybe by frame 52 I'm going to add another key here. I'm going to move it higher. I'll move them together. So now if we play, okay, so now we have a general kind of wing motion here. So now this is not going to achieve anything. This is not organic. This is not nice. We have to make this look much nicer now. Like this is just a base spot for us to get started. So now this wing is having a decent kind of fall off. Maybe, maybe, I think maybe, for example, this controller, the spread in controller. So like maybe on some spots, like around here at the end, I feel like the wing might be going way too high. So maybe we can definitely try bringing the wing motion slightly lower on some areas. For example, this one, can move it slightly down. But other than that, I think it mostly is working. So now like we have a general motion on the wing, nothing is intersecting, most of the things are working well. And now I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start one by one. I will start from this controller first. So I will start adding some shake, some inside shake, and some rotation here on the wing. And I will start adding some more motion on the wing using this controller. I think this would be the perfect kind of controller that we would like to use here, because now the wing coming in is going to bring in a lot of nicer kind of physics on the wing. So we already have key on frame 0. So I'm gonna, as it's going down, so now from 0 to 3, I'm just gonna rotate. I'm gonna move this slightly higher. I'm gonna rotate slightly down, and I'm gonna move this slightly in. So from 0 to 3, now it's going slightly in. So now we'll see that, and then now it's gonna fall down slightly like this, and it's gonna come out slightly. So now it's falling down and coming out. And then by frame 11 I think it's going to keep going out. It's going to keep turning. Maybe it should turn in other direction here. So now we have this kind of motion happening. So maybe I'm going to keep this going a little bit more less uh, violent. So now it's going slightly out, and maybe on by frame 20 I'm going to rotate this down. I'm going to rotate this in. I will rotate this. So like, I'm trying to add some nicer kind of motion, follow through motion on this specific finger. So now we can see, like, it's starting to get something. So, but not 100%. We have to get it right. So especially like, as it's falling down. So maybe we can start by adding a little bit of maybe this kind of angle where the rotation X is slightly higher. And then this one also, I'm going to rotate this down. So for now, don't worry about this. So what we can do here is we can add here a key, and then we can, smooth out. We can smooth out. For now, we are trying to get a general kind of motion here. So now the wing is coming down, it's falling down. I think it should fall down even more. And this one should also fall down even more. Yeah, it's gonna go up. And by frame 20, it's gonna go down. And by 26, it's gonna go up again. By 31, gonna go even more higher. Another shake here. Maybe it's going to keep going down. Around here, I think it's going to shake out a little bit. Maybe I can keep this part a little bit higher. So I think it's going to fall down here, I think it would be much more believable. So I'm going to select both of these first and last. I'm going to make their angle look same. So now if I play again, working. So now we have to keep adding more and more angles here. Now it's coming in. So maybe I think maybe I'm gonna keep this slightly in. So now we can see, like, once we know what's going on before this, so it's gonna look much better. So now it's gonna go in, and maybe I can keep it in for a little bit longer, and then it's gonna come out. This one is fine. And I think by this frame it's gonna go in again. Then it will go in. By this frame it's gonna go start coming out, and then we'll have the similar kind of physics here. Maybe I can let it go slightly in, and it's gonna have a nicer follow through here. Maybe I can raise it up. I can make them flat. So now we have some more physics happening on this X. So the more detail we are going to add, the nicer it's going to look. Now if you can see, like, it's falling down and it's getting a little bit stiffer. Maybe I think I want to try adding a little bit nicer shape here. I think this part is getting a little bit slower, so it should fall down a little bit here. So I'm going to let it fall down, and then I'm going to go up a little bit. So let's see how that looks. I'm just going to smooth out a few areas. Okay. So now, last but not least, we'll try something with the X. So I personally, I want to keep going with it. I'm not happy with, like, the rotation kind of stops around here. So maybe I want to keep this one going, and I want to have a even better angle visible here. I'm gonna try something different here. So now we just added a little bit extra motion here, so we'll see how that looks. So that's working. Now moving on to the X. So now we'll start adding some X bounce. So now as this wing is falling down, so maybe I think maybe I should start by a little bit of a lower angle here, and then the wing is gonna continue to have follow through, and it's gonna suddenly fall down here like this, and then it's gonna continue to have that follow through here, and it's gonna come up. Gonna be down here, then up, down, and up. I think what we have so far is good. So now we have some just couple of weird spots I found. Other than that, I think it's working. So like around like this one is not working. So for example, I can keep this one a little bit lower and this one a little bit higher. Maybe I need to keep this going a little bit high. Okay, so now this one is working, and we can definitely copy and paste this to another ones to make a similar look on. And but now moving forward, I would definitely like to add a few more behaviors. So first of all, I want to move this arm slightly in and out. I think that's going to look much nicer here. So as the arm is falling down here, maybe I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. So around here, I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to add a key here and make sure you middle mouse drag to 60. And now as the arm is coming in, it's going to fall down. I mean, it's going to bend in a little bit. And so it's coming in and it's going to quickly bend in. So I will focus on this. And maybe I'm going to let it come in a little bit faster. It's going to bend in and then it's going to come out right away like this. And then it's going to go in. Around here, I think I can bring it out again. And then it's going to go in. I'm going to rotate this in. Okay, so now we have some motion going on here where this motion is looking great. So I think now we are moving towards the wing details. So now this wing is going to fall down and it's going to have some more nicer details. So I think for now we have a great understanding of this wing going back and forward. I think, yeah, this is definitely going to work out. So now, finally, like, the small things that we are seeing here, they are looking nice. We're going to add even more details. So now I will see you guys in next video, and in which we are going to continue to detail this wing. We're going to finish it right away and we'll copy this animation to the other side. Then we're going to move on to the body, then legs, and then, the rest of the things left. I think so far I like where we are going, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.